Welcome back to another episode of F1 Ultimate Career Mode. It is episode 6. We're on race 8, going to Valencia today. If you've never seen the Valencia street circuit, it is a bit of a weird one, but ironically it is a circuit that I usually do quite well at. So I'm pretty excited. I think we will probably go a lot better than what we did at the last round in Canada. Canada's not really a strong track for me. But this is the standings at the moment. So Christian Waters, our character, he is 11th in the standings. We are really outperforming the car at the moment, making a very good case to Red Bull to put us in the main team. And I think that's obviously the goal. We're leaving that up to the game to decide at the moment. And this is the constructor standing, so we are 7th right now in the constructor standing. So yeah, let's get out on track and start first practice.
Get these changes made.
Alright, heading out on circuit for our first practice lap on Valencia. I have not raced on this circuit in years, so it's very, very weird being back on the circuit in F1 2012. This was one of my favorite tracks, actually, when I had the game on Xbox 360 back in the day, and I still find it, I don't know, weirdly a very natural circuit for me to drive. I don't spend very much time getting back to grips with the weird quirks of the circuit. It's got these really hard blind braking zones. There's at least 3 on the track where you can't actually see the apex or even the brake, like where to brake. You kind of have to guess. Like, this is an example of one where you brake right at the curb there as I get tapped by Alonso. But most of what makes this track tricky is that you've got to kind of guesstimate where you're braking. There are some corners where you can pick out like a brake marker, but there is a few really crucial corners, particularly the last corner, and there's a corner in sector 3, I believe, that just makes it, or towards the end of sector 2 I should say, it just makes it very difficult to figure out where to hit the brakes and how much to brake. Like, these corners are all incredibly blind and very, very hard to get the hang of. It is a perfect example of a Herman Tilke circuit. It is quite challenging to drive and doesn't really make for very good racing, to be honest.
Your last lap time gives you 9th fastest, 9th place.
Here we are at the end of practice. I can't really improve much more than where I'm at. And I think P13 is well outperforming the car. I mean, we're 4/10 faster than Ricardo in practice at the moment. So I'm pretty confident that once I have some time on track, with the other cars, I should be able to get an understanding of where they brake as well. And that'll help me decide how to take some of those very weird corners. But yeah, qualifying 14th will be still hard. I think that's like right on the limit for what the car is capable of, and I'm not going to waste any time on primes. I think makes more sense to, you know, just go out there on options and do the absolute best we can. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I decided to fuel up for two laps, just to get my eye in and see how we can do. But I do fast forward a little bit just so that the track has some more grip to it. I don't really fancy going out there while the track's green. It at least gives me an idea of what kind of times I need to be aiming for. I need to be aiming for much better times than what I was getting in practice, that's for sure. So hopefully, given the circuit's rubber, that we can do some good laps. So here we are on board for my first qualifying lap in Q1. As you can see, we're up on the time that we need to beat the P17, which is Daniel at the moment, but only just. It is very fine margin, so I've got to make some time up in this last sector, which really the only place you can is this last corner. If you brake too deep, you go right on, and if you brake too early, you just go way too slow. So it's an incredibly hard corner to get right. Coming to the line, I don't go fast enough, so luckily I fueled for 2 laps. So let's give it one more go. I feel like there's definitely some sections in the track that I can improve upon. I know that I'm faster than that first time, so yeah, a 1:43.6 is not really representative for me. So go out again. This time trying to nail all the weird, funky corners that I know I just was very trepidatious on the first lap. Coming to the line at the end of my second lap, it is a better lap, and we just pip our way in to Q2, and I feel as though the lap is good enough. I don't think I can improve very much, and there's not much point in wasting the tires. I think, you know, the cars that are behind me are very unlikely to go much faster, so that even if I wanted to go out, there's not really enough time to do another lap. So a 1:42.9 is representative, and I can go a little bit quicker, I think. So I'm somewhat confident going into Q2 that we can get a better result than P17.
Great job. We're through to qualifying 2.
after setting a little banker lap, and I was initially going to go out on primes. It just didn't look like it was going to make much sense, so I decided to come straight back in and just do a proper lap on options. I think it's going to be hard for us to beat P14. The pace isn't there. Maybe beating Senna in the Williams is a possibility, but I'd have to get at least a 1:42.7 to be anywhere near that sort of pace. So I've got to have a really good lap. So nailing every sector as we go purple in the first sector, which means that is the fastest sector so far for sector 1. But I am hooking it up. The key with this circuit really is to hit the braking zones spot on. Like, you cannot stuff up the braking. If you stuff up the braking and you brake too deep, you're a goner. As I lock up a little bit on the inside going into T1, but it's good. It looks like a good lap. So where do we end up? It's about where I thought I wanted to be, which is about a 1:42.7, 1:42.8, but it's still not fast enough. So Senna's done a 1:42.6, so I'm going to have to find about another 2/10. So I go underfueled, and I try one more time. I've decided that this is my last lap. I'm not going to push anymore. I don't have any more tires. As we come to the end of the lap, it's very close. If I don't cross the line before the timer, I don't get a lap in. So let's hurry to the line. It's close, but we are just able to start a timed lap, and that gives us an opportunity. There's a couple of cars behind us that are starting a lap as well, but the track won't get any better than it is now. So I've got no excuses. I've just got to nail every corner, and I'm down, and I outbrake myself into one of those funky corners, and we are out. We don't improve at all. Bit of a shame. I think that the time was there. I don't think we could have beaten Nico, but I think Bruno Senna was definitely possible for us to get a 1:42.6. But I think that's as good as we're going to get for qualifying. Let's go to the race, and hopefully we can get a better result. I think finishing 15th will be pretty simple for us. That's the target the team have picked out for us. Decided to keep the strategy pretty much the same. There's not much point in tweaking it. At least in this game, I've noticed that doing alternate strategies is no faster. So you want to capitalize on the AI's very slow first lap. So being on the better tire at the start of the race is always the best play. So having a fresh set of options is almost better than qualifying further up the grid and sacrificing that for a better starting position. So here we are, starting right in front of our teammate at race 8 of the 2012 season. 5 lights out, and away we go. Is once again second race in a row, a terrible start. We are swamped at the very beginning. I have not made a good getaway. I can't seem to nail these starts. I feel like Mark Webber as we go around the outside of Timo Glock. And I see Daniel right there, and I have to avoid Nico Hulkenberg, who was just braking right in the center of the circuit there. Not on the racing line, but just in the way. As I dance around Daniel's outside, and I weave through. I'm just finding these gaps at the start of the race as the AI are trying to get up to speed. As we make it down the inside of Sergio Perez on the back of Grosjean. So I think this is about where the pace of the car is. We're a bit slower than the Lotuses, but we're about on par with the Saubers, I think, just in terms of race pace. So if I finish here, I'll be pretty happy. So let's get on with it and see what we can do. Here we are on the back of Grosjean, trying to find a way through. We're able to stay behind him at the moment just because, yeah, like I mentioned at the start, like the AI tend to be very slow as we dive down the inside of Grosjean. We make the move stick there as we got Kimi now directly ahead of us. It was a good move. It was opportunistic. Puts Grosjean in our dirty air, and we've got our work cut out for us to get to Kimi. I'm right on the limit there, braking into that corner, but I'm not getting a very good exit as Grosjean's able to get a much better exit. But luckily for us, we've got the same engine as the Lotus, so they don't have the straight line speed advantage that the Ferraris and the McLaren powered cars have on us. As we skip to later down lap 2, we're approaching Kimi at a rate of knots here. I make the decision to not dive down the inside there. There was a moment where I thought I could make it, but then I remembered that I've got damage on, and I see an opportunity here open up, but I realised that corner is a closing wedge, and that's not the place to do it, so we have to gear up for another run. But we are faster. The race pace here seems to be very good as we put in a purple sector. 10 seconds faster than the fastest time, so yeah, definitely on the pace, and definitely in for a good result if we can continue this pace. We've broken away from Grosjean as we skip down to lap 3, and are approaching Raikkonen now, and I make a decision to dive. It was clean, but we were faster anyway, so there was no point in staying behind him any longer than we had to. But we're making massive progress in this race, and we're now in the points. So this is much better than the Canadian Grand Prix last time out. But now Raikkonen's got DRS on us as we move defensively and attack Massa at the same time. I moved to the right to try and defend from Grosjean there, but an opportunity opened with Massa, and so I dove down the inside and made the move. So now we're up to 9th, which is fantastic. Here we are catching the back of Maldonado here. We're definitely faster than the Williams, for sure. And there's a car off there, I believe that was Massa. No, it's not Massa, but there was someone off the track there. Maybe it was Vettel. And we've gained another position. So now we're in 8th position. We're on track for a very good result in this race, and we're still making progress. So like we're not slowing down. It wasn't like in Canada where we were struggling to maintain the pace. The mixture of this circuit and my driving seems to be able to allow us to move forward as we move up the back of Maldonado here, right in his slipstream, and I decide to go for it. It's definitely a hunting ground this corner for me this race. As we move up into 7th place, we are now behind Schumacher, I believe, and I think it must be either Webber or Vettel. I think it must be Webber. I'm pretty sure it was Vettel that came off the track there earlier, but I'm braking a bit too sketchily into that corner, and a bit later on that kind of bites me in bites me in the ass as we skip to a lap later as we come into the pits. We're following in Webber, and we're up to 6th place. Like, it is a phenomenal result if we finish here. As we line up for our pit box here, looking for a good stop, going onto the hard tyres. It's a decent stop, but we have to stop for a second, I guess, for traffic. But we jump Webber in the pits, and we're right behind Button coming out. That is a very fortunate stop. We could have maybe jumped Button if we hadn't have had that hold up, but it was definitely worth it. As I see an opportunity to go around Button's outside on cold tyres, Button was incredibly slow coming out of the pits there, and I had to pounce on the opportunity. I don't know how many times this year we're going to have a car that's competitive, so I've just got to make the most of it when it is. And right now we're in 9th place, so that's 2 points so far for the team. We're breaking away at the end of lap 7 from Button and co, as a bunch of cars have now decided to enter the pits as well. Second round of pit stops. Let's see how many cars we jump. And we've got Massa. We're at 4th place as we overtake Massa for 3rd. This is a genuine podium position here. This is real pace. This is not safety car induced or anything like that. This is exactly where we are on pace, and we've got Rosberg dead ahead in the Mercedes. We're going to have our work cut out for us to try and get him. Also, I think when turns out we've actually got the pace on even Rosberg. I know we don't have the pace on Hamilton. The McLarens are definitely faster by a mile, but the Mercedes is very vulnerable to us here, and I decide I'm going to go for it. Once again, going down the inside of Rosberg here, moving up into 2nd place. This is turning into an absolute stonker of a race for us. This is possibly the best race just in terms of pace that we've had all year, and it's fantastic to see.
Just behind you, try to build a gap.
Towards the end of lap 13, we have Webber catching us. The Red Bull is definitely quicker than the Mercedes, and although we broke away from Rosberg easily, we're not catching Hamilton, and Webber has been catching us, and we are fighting for 2nd place here. And my tyres are just about gone. Meanwhile, on the radio, Christian has been asked by his team to let Webber through, and he's furious. He believes that he has fought for this position and he deserves it. He's going red under the helmet, and it's clear that he's going red because he outbrakes himself into the final corner, and Webber takes the position anyway. His youth and inexperience are showing sometimes, despite how quick he is. He's trying to make the statement that he should be promoted straight into that Red Bull seat for 2013, but Webber is still pumping out the results, and once again he just completely outbrakes himself into the last corner at the end of the race. Definitely a lot of highlights and definitely some positives to take away, but I think he's yet to show the maturity of someone deserving of a Red Bull seat, despite showing the pace. I think Christian has shown in this race he has the pace, and if you give him a good car, he will perform. It is very scary how quick the McLaren is. They're doing about half a second quicker on race pace than us, but we're on the pace, and it was Sebastian Vettel that lost out early on. But yeah, that was a fantastic race. Amazing for us to get only our 2nd podium of the year. Really, really good stuff. And I think Red Bull's impressed too. Red Bull would be looking at Christian very seriously now and thinking, is there a spot for him next to Vettel? Because it's definitely not going to be Webber that stays at Red Bull. It will be Vettel. So do you trade one Australian for another? And if so, who is it? Is it Daniel or Christian? And at the moment, Christian's definitely making the case that it should be him. He's 42 points to Daniel Ricciardo's 1. So yeah, absolutely outshining him and putting his stamp down on that second Red Bull seat. So thank you everyone for watching today. It's been a really good race. It was really fun for me to drive at that level. And I'm looking forward to Great Britain as well, because Great Britain's another track that I go well at. It is a circuit that I am fairly good, so I'm looking forward to it. This is the Drivers' Championship at the moment. We're at 9th place, which is just fantastic. We're just outperforming the car at the moment. And Daniel hasn't secured another point yet, so he's definitely underperforming, I think, where the car is. But as you see in the constructors, like, I'm pretty much carrying the team at the moment. If I wasn't there, we wouldn't have any bloody points. But that's it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.